So today guys, we have a new customer. But first thing first, don't forget to subscribe. As for today, we will meet Mina. She's a YouTuber and she always do the review about food. And just like you, Mina struggles with her eating habits. And it frustrates her while doing some review, and sometimes it makes her want to stop being a YouTuber. So, to make her understand about the food that she ate, we can help her by explain more about lipids.
So first of all, I would like to explain about definition of lipid. Lipid is insoluble organic compound that contain of hydrogen, carbon and oxygen that make up fat and oil. So this picture are about the structure of lipid.
We are going to focus on properties of lipids, structure of lipids, functions of lipids, and roles of lipids. The properties of lipids can be divided into two, which is physical and chemical. In a physical way, fats insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. It has no color, odor, or taste. It has a low melting point and it floats on water. In a chemical way, lipids react in hydrolysis, saponification, hydrogenation, halogenation, and rancidity. In hydrolysis, lipids is a reaction of water with a substance such as fats. In saponification, lipids breaking down neutral fat into glycerol and fatty acid. In hydrogenation, it is a reaction to optimize properties of fats and oils. In halogenation, chlorine, bromine, and iodine can be added to unsaturated fatty acid at the double bond forming halogenated fatty acid. Rancidity, hydrolysis, and oxidation reactions are responsible for causing rancidity.
Okay, that we move to the next point, which is structure of lipid. Lipid is consists of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but some of them contain nitrogen and phosphorus, and most lipids are nonpolar. The first point is triglyceride. Triglyceride, also known as neutral fat, are composed of fatty acid hydrocarbon chain bound to a single glycerol molecule. There is an image of triglyceride molecule with three neutral fatty acid chain and glycerol group. Triglyceride composed of many fatty acids that melt at lower temperature than those triglycerides with saturated fatty acid. So we know that unsaturated fatty acid exists in the liquid state at room temperature. Now let's move to the next box, which is phospholipid. Phospholipids are made of triglyceride with a phosphate group substitute for a fatty acid. They are made by four distinguished groups, which is fatty acid chain, a platform, a phosphate group, and an alcohol attached to the phosphate. So this image illustrates the structure of phospholipid. They can be described as having a charged head and hydrocarbon tail. The head are hydrophilic or water-loving, whereas the tail are hydrophobic or repellent to water. We move on to the next point, which is steroid. Steroid consists of four hydrocarbon ring or steroid nucleus as foundation of molecule. So here we can see the structure of the steroid nucleus and cholesterol. For your information, cholesterol arranged into rigid ring structure of 5 or 6 carbon atoms with hydrogen attached and a flexible hydrocarbon tail. The first ring contains a hydroxyl group that extends into water environment of animal cell membrane. The rest of the molecules are water insoluble. So here we can see that cholesterol are divided by two, which is progesterone and testosterone. Now let we see the next block, which is prostaglandin. It is derived from unsaturated fatty acid. So here are the structure of the prostaglandin. Earlier, I had been mentioned about saturated and unsaturated. So here I will explain more about this point. First of all, I want to make it more clear that fat is lipid. Lipid is fat. Remember that. So the first one is saturated fat. What is saturated fat? Fat that are tightly packed with no double bond between the fatty acid are called saturated fat. There are some exceptions, but most are solid at room temperature. So we know that saturated fat are solid at room temperature. So here is the example of saturated fat, which is fatty pieces of meat such as beef and lamb, cheese, coconut and palm oil. Some people said that saturated fat is bad for health. It had been ongoing for decades. While it is clear that saturated fat has red blood lipid. So next, let me move to the next point, which is unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat are loosely packed. They tend to be more liquid at room temperature. So we know that unsaturated fat are liquid at room temperature. There are two main types of unsaturated fat. The first one is monounsaturated. Here I want to tell you that monounsaturated fat may help lower your risk for getting cardiovascular disease and overall mortality. So this is example of monounsaturated, which is olive oil, peanut oil, avocados. Next is polyunsaturated. For your information, your body needs polyunsaturated fat to function. Polyunsaturated fat help with muscle movement and blood clotting. Since your body does not make this type of fat, you have to get it through your diet, where you can eat walnut, oyster, fatty fish such as sardine, tuna and salmon.
These are the roles of lipids. Lipids refer as blood fats. The most popular lipids is known as cholesterol. Unsaturated fats are the healthiest fats to eat as they decrease the risk of disease. For example, olive oil. Leafy green vegetables also one of the good sources of dietary unsaturated fats. The fatty acids in leaves are used in chloroplasts. High-density lipoprotein (HDL) refers to cholesterol that is a good fat. It helps to remove bad cholesterol via liver. Eicosapentacean acid (EPA) and doxahexaenic acid (DHA) is good to prevent inflammatory skin. Lipids also play a role in motor neuron disease (MNDs). As we know, lipids, also known as fats. Below are the functions of lipids. Lipids make up protective barrier and provide energy storage to plants and animals. Lipids also participate in cell division, in help with mechanical aspects of division such as membrane stiffness. Lipids provide the greatest amount of energy. Some of the lipids is for immediate energy needs and other lipids are for storage.